cookie and candy polka dot Christmas trees.
Let's see what's cooking. Let's get the facts. Let's see what's cooking. It's time for Yo-Yo Max 12.
For this recipe, you'll need a nice non-spreading sugar cookie recipe. The one I'm using is 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of sugar. Cream that together, add an egg and some vanilla, and then you slowly add in 3 cups of all-purpose flour. And if you don't use salted butter, then add in a half a teaspoon of salt. I'll put the recipe and the instructions in the description box below. You don't have to chill this dough, which is great. You work with it half at a time, so I cut that dough ball in half, and then I rolled it out between pieces of parchment paper until it was about 1/4 of an inch thick. And then I cut out my little Christmas trees using a Christmas tree cookie cutter. I removed the excess dough in between the trees. And then to make the polka dots, I used 2 things. I used an icing tip, the bottom of an icing tip, and I also used a large straw. This is actually a McDonald's straw that I'm going to use. Sometimes the little dots will stick inside the icing tip, sometimes they won't. Same thing with the straw. And I did a variety. I did large and small. All you have to do is look around to see what you have in the house that could make little round holes, and then you could just have a variety of different shapes if you'd like. Now what I recommend you do here at this point is take this, put it on a cookie sheet and put it in the freezer for about 15 minutes. It'll just make it so much easier to transfer them to your cookie sheet. In the meantime, you can crush up your candy. I'm using Jolly Rancher hard candies, but you can use any kind of hard candy you want. I put them in a Ziploc bag after taking the wrappers off, and then just pounded them into a candy dust using the back or the flat side of a meat hammer. So there are the little trees. You can see once they're chilled, they come off the paper really easy. They don't lose their shape, they don't get distorted, and they don't tear. Put them on your cookie sheet, and you're going to bake these at 350 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. Mine took closer to 15 because I'm using a silicone mat on top of an insulated cookie sheet. You want them to be baked with just starting to get a tiny bit brown on the edges, just the lightest little bit brown. Now to put the candy in the holes, you can use an 1/8 of a teaspoon measuring spoon, or you could even just cut a little slit into a large straw like this and just use that to scoop up the candy. And then all you do is fill up the little holes with candy, filling up the hole completely, because this is going to melt and it's going to kind of go down a little bit. And then just distribute the colors around, just to be artistic. And don't try to get too much candy on top of the cookie. If you get any little bits of candy, kind of brush them off before you put these back in the oven. So once these little holes are all filled with your candy, put them back in the oven at 350 degrees for about 3 minutes. Set your alarm for 2 minutes and then check them. And then 1 minute increments after that until the candy is melted. As soon as it's melted, take it out of the oven and then you're done. Let it cool before you peel them off your silicone mat. And there they are. They are super cute. I love the little colors, that they turned out really well, and the cookie doesn't brown very much more when you melt the candy, so don't worry about that. And what's lovely about these is that when you put light behind them, you can see how they look like kind of like little stained glass windows. I thought these were so cute. Now what you could do before you bake these is poke a hole near the top of the point at the top of the tree. Don't fill it in with candy, just leave it empty, and after they're baked and cooled, you can put a little piece of ribbon on there and hang them in your tree as an edible ornament. I have another polka dot recipe. It's polka dot bark with Rice Krispie treats in it. And although this doesn't look very Christmassy, you could easily turn this into a Christmas bark by using the red and green candy melting wafers. Thanks for watching.